Welcome back to What's Next Garage. Today, we're timing the motor and installing the intake. Stick around. Here we go. This plastic cover needs to be installed because the cam sprocket goes over the top. Cam sensor, and here's a bunch of cam flags. And it's got that little dowel pin that goes into there. So with these cam sprockets, when you're gonna go to torque that up, even on this one, hold on, I'll show you something. So this is off of that same Forester XT that domed piston was off of. So when they tell you to get the right wrench to hold this, if you don't, and you try to hold it with a pliers, you break them, you wreck them, because this is just plastic. So this has got the big Hexola on there. Yeah, if you try to hold it with a pliers, you'll break it. Just like that. Take it from me, I know. Wow, that's just that. Okay. Now let's put this to what they say, 58 foot-pounds. Okay, that's it. All right. Yeah, that's fine. When it comes time to time it, I'll bring it up to there. All right, and then this one. So he's got a big star. So let's get him lined up, get him in there, and we will torque it up. That's it. With the right tools, it actually makes it quite easy. And these are what I bought after we destroyed that, after we destroyed my kid's other one. I reused all of the timing components only because there's probably 15,000 miles on these bearings and on the tensioner. And again, you have to make sure you have all the plastic guards in place before you start installing sprockets or bearings. 28 foot-pounds. Good, and good. This guy will go up here. When we put the timing belt on, I'm gonna have to pull this guy off a little bit to get him to go in. If I remember right, it's a little bit of a stretch even with the idler compressed. All right, here we go. We're gonna give it the timing. So I made this. So this line is for this pulley, and then right meaning the rotation of the nation. All right, let's get this guy on time. We're gonna go a little more. Just hopefully she doesn't go swing. All right. Without some type of clamp or clip, that timing belt definitely tends to jump off of the sprockets a lot. Oh, there's a line right there. There's a line there. Wow, that's nice. Let's see if we can find them. When the belts are new, they come with timing marks on them, and these are what I have found. There's a line. You can tell the white there. There's a line. Okay. Oh my gosh, and there's another one. So this one right here is actually the crank timing, because it actually has these dots like that. So we're actually pretty good. We actually got lucky. So now we know that this guy is gonna go right here. Oh, the one over, right there. So now that line, that factory line is right on there. That is sweet. We're gonna actually give that some more. I'm happy to see them. So then we have this one over here, which that white line is right on there. Without clips, that belt sure does flop around. Let's just go a little bit. Ow, 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 ow. Right, ow. Ow. Okay, that's on there. All right. I bumped that cam and it cammed over and it pinched my finger. My finger got pinched between the back of the sprocket and that plastic cover. Yeah, it got pinched all right. I had a bunch of bulldog clips, but my kids, I love that excuse. I did install that last flange pulley, but then I ended up taking it off because I forgot. It has to be off when you're timing the motor, and then when you go to put it back on, it's super simple. And then we'll just go around a couple times, make sure it goes freely. All right, here we go. So I just go around a couple times and then make sure that the motor stays in time, which it definitely did. Everything worked out really well. Okay, now we're gonna clean up to put this coolant crossover pipe in. We're gonna get these old ones out of here, these old O-rings. They're pretty crusty. So I am using that screwdriver to clean out all of the dried coolant. I'm not digging in or chewing away at it. I'm just lightly rubbing it along the top of those surfaces. Here I'm using the razor blade to scrape away any of the dried coolant. Then I come back with a fine stone and some brake clean, and I go along and polish those surfaces. Now I'm not going in the same direction. I'm actually rotating the stone and polishing. That way I know I'm not going to create any leak paths. Then when I put the O-rings on, I put a little bit of O-ring lube on the O-rings and put them into place. Then I pretty much can guarantee that I will have a leak-free installation. These four get torqued to 180 inch-pounds, which is just about the top of this scale. The only hard part now is finding a 3/8 10 millimeter thingamajigger socket. 15 feels good. Yep. And there is compression there, so that's good. It's good to see it compressed. That way I know it's going to seal. There's a bolt back here. Small, short little thing. I don't know what that is, so I have to find out what that's for. And I've got one here, which is probably for a guard or something. I have to figure that stuff out before I go any further. Because if I put the intake on, then I'm really bound and determined to take it back off and put it back on. Okay, let's see what else has got to go on here. Okay, well I figured out what these screws were for. This pipe, and this pipe won't go on with this on. So let's do a what's next garage redo. Well, it happens. I'm really nervous that this is gonna be the build that I have to take it all back apart again because I forgot one thing. I have that sneaking suspicion. Let's try and keep them clean. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the damn thing on the right way. Yeah. It goes down there. Get in there. I know you wanna. You can tell by the jerky movement, I'm excited that I'm gonna have this in the right spot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, thank goodness. Oh, we're closer. Look at this, we're gonna win. I think, yep, there it is. It just went free. Yay for me! So it comes down here. So it goes behind the timing chain cover, next to the dipstick, which has got to get a bolt in it, and then onto the thermostat housing. So now I'm just retorquing down that coolant crossover pipe. That hose was actually for the heater core. So that crossover pipe has a tube that goes to the heater core, and then that tube that I reconfigured goes to the heater core as well. Supply and return. Now we're just cleaning up the surfaces for the intake. Now we have to get this hardened plastic off of there without cutting my fingers. I think I'm okay. It's pretty hard to believe how difficult that tubing can get over all the years of that heat cycling on it. It dries out pretty good. So here we're cleaning off the intake itself. I go after it with the razor blade to get any excess gasket material and then hit it with that stone, again not going in the same direction. I should probably find a better scraper that holds a razor blade. That way I'd probably keep my fingers out of the way. And then one last wipe with that wonderful sock, we start cleaning off the tube there that I had to cut with the Sawzall. These are the SOHC compression fittings that I'm using. They're 1/2 inch OD. I'll link in the description below. Alright, looks like we can put the intake on. I'm gonna have to go and find the bolts, but you know, an old timer taught me a trick. His name was Ed. Instead of taking your razor blade and cutting across and making a line, it was the most simple thing I ever saw in my life. Put the razor blade there and pull. You make no line, and it's open. So if there is anything I've ever learned from that old timer Ed, it was opening a package without leaving a line. Simple, hey? All right, so these have a pin there and a pin there. So it's pretty, I'm not gonna say difficult because I've freaking put on head gaskets wrong and it says this part to the front. So we're gonna put the pins on. That's right. That ain't right. Look, see, that's wrong. Look what I did. Now I wouldn't have left it, but I put it on according to the pins. So now that you're gonna line up the pins, you have to line, what the fuck? Oh, jeepers Christmas. It's like a freaking mind puzzle. Oh gosh. Sometimes I wonder if I should even videotape this. Just keep it all to myself. Yeah, I could edit it to be a superhero, but why? That'd be no fun. I gotta get that. I have to find that molded one for the coolant on that side. I don't know where I left it laid. So we're gonna pull this back off. Intake on, intake off. Alright, so I think it's good that my kid is starting to be a hoarder. Well, not a hoarder. Saving parts, because I was able to find the EGR or whatever this is to the intake, so that's probably some type of valve. And I'm using this piece of fuel line, 3/8 fuel line, and that'll be for my coolant return from the throttle body. Which is fine, as long as I don't have too big of a kink. So if I have to put a big loop in there, I'll put a big loop in there. So I line up that compression fitting, and we'll see that in a minute. Even though they're made for water, they definitely work in this application. You just have to make sure you tighten it enough to crimp to that 480 some thousandths tube with that 1/2 inch compression fitting. It worked great, still working, it's awesome. You just have to make sure you deburr it and crimp it down extra tight. And then I think we can finally install the hardware and we'll be able to tighten everything down soon. I'm digging through that pile over there. Hopefully I can find them all. Oh, I think I see it. Look at that. Aha! Whoop whoop! I looked through there and it was shining and I found it. There's my 4 for that side, or 6. 1, 2, oh, 4. I got them. Huh. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at What's Next Garage on Instagram. No spaces. I'm just starting out, so kind of an old man rookie. Old man. I'm not really old man. All right. Now we'll figure out what the torque's gonna be. Oh, and I think that hose is up in the vehicle. I gotta look. So up there is the coolant hose. Put it up there. I'll take that. Maybe I got another one of them bolts up here. Maybe I got the flywheel bolt up here somewhere. I doubt it though. I guess this is what I get when I store parts all over the place. So what I'm doing in this essence is gonna put that intake on and make it hard for me to get the torque converter bolts on there, but I'll struggle. I will, without a problem. It's in my DNA. Okay, here we go again. Lucky fellas, lucky lads and lasses. Now I'm just gonna look through, make sure nothing's pinched. Wires are free. This is free. This is, I don't know where, this goes somewhere. All right, that's free. From this guy down here to here, we'll have to rig something up. I'm not worried about that. It was these guys that I was worried about. Okay, so the torque value is 18.1. So they're all down there. I'll leave a link in the description below for the AC Delco ratchet. It really does come in handy, the cordless ratchet. We're going to 18. We're gonna go, well, we're gonna give it 20 because it's old. I didn't follow any torque sequence. I just tightened the bolts down. Everything worked out good. Oh, that's gonna be tough. That is gonna be, well, maybe not. Maybe not. I'll show you what I mean talking about. So my little fingies are gonna have to get right in here to put the bolts in. It can be done. Absolutely, it can be done. I've done it before, but it's probably way easier with all this junk off. But I want to put it in. I want to do this before I put it in. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of What's Next Garage. On the next episode, we're going to put on the timing cover. We'll put the motor mounts on, and then we'll get this system ready to get into the car. Make sure you check the links in the description below for the compression fittings and the Delco cordless ratchet. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great day.